In this video, I'll show you why your coaching business breaks traditional economics and how you can use that to speedrun making money. Now, to make this simple, the economics of a coaching business looks like this. So it is a service and usually you're doing it online. So in reality, you have zero actual costs, which in theory would mean that you have 100% margins before tax. Now, how usually in economics we divide costs is you're going to have fixed costs and you're going to have variable costs. And now what fixed costs are business operating costs. So this is anything like a paycheck you need to pay, a software you need to pay monthly for, anything like that. But a cost per client, now this is everything you need to pay after you get a client. So each client you get, you might need to pay that especially for them. Now where this is easier to understand is with a business like a restaurant, so which is not a service and it's not online. What business operating costs are there is it could be the rent you need to pay for the restaurant, the paychecks you need to pay your employees, that kind of stuff. But cost per client would be the food. So each person that orders food, you need to pay for food for that exact person. So that would be a cost per, not client, but there it's everyone who comes to the restaurant. Now to go back to a coaching business, why it has zero actual cost. If you look at it at the base of what online coaching is, the only thing you need to use is Google Meet or Zoom. So that's all free software. And then you have no business operating costs. You need to have an internet connection and a PC, but let's assume you already have that. So you don't have any cost that you need to constantly pay just to operate your business. And also cost per client. Once you get a client, you just hop on calls with them. You explain to them what they need, or you write up a program for them in Word or something, just like a free software. So essentially you have nothing to pay for. So with the basics of an online coaching business, you have no business operating costs because you have no rent, no nothing like that. And you have no cost per client because you're just hopping on calls with them and delivering a service. Now, for me to explain how to speed run a coaching business to making a lot of money, you need to understand these two graphs. And this is called operating leverage. Now, to quickly explain these two graphs, what this one shows is a business that is usually a low risk, low reward, because you're not risking a lot, so your losses are going to be pretty low. But even after you start making profit, your profit is going to be pretty low still. But on the other side, you have a business which is high risk, high reward. So it's going to have high risk at the beginning. You're going to lose a lot of money. But then after you start making money, you're going to get a lot of profit really quickly. And how you decide on which side you are is going to be this business is going to be one that has a lot of variable cost. And this one is going to be one that has a lot of fixed cost. But now what I want to do here is I'll show you why your coaching business isn't a business which is low risk, low reward, or a high risk, high reward, but how to structure it so it is low risk, high reward. So let's do that by going into an example. Right here, we're going to have two businesses, two online coaching businesses, and this one is going to have $0 of fixed cost per month, but a 25% commission cost. So let's say you have a seller that takes 10% of each sale that comes through, and then 15% for closers. So your closer takes 15%. Altogether, you have a 25% commission cost. And on the other side, you have a fixed cost. So let's say you're paying paychecks to these guys, which is costing you $5,000 a month. And let's say you have another software that helps you. And that all together, they get you to $5,000 a month. But they don't take any commission. So altogether, you have 0% commission cost. And of these two businesses, they both have the same price. So price of service, both have 10 grand, which is pretty basic for a coaching business. So now let's look how this business behaves, or both of these two businesses behave after we start making money, or after we start making sales. So at 0 sales per month, so we still have the same price, same everything. This business is gonna lose or gain 0 money because it's all on commission. You don't have to pay your seller, your closer, anything. Why? Because you didn't make any sales. You don't have to pay commission, $0. And this business, it lost $5,000. Why? Because you have a fixed cost of $5,000 a month that you still needed to pay your closer, your seller, your software. You need to pay this stuff because you're paying it on a fixed cost on a monthly basis. So you lost $5,000. Next up, what happens after we make one sale? So this business on the left, so the blue one, is gonna make $7,500. Why? Because we paid 25% commission. We made one sale, which is 10K minus 25%. That's 7,500. But this business, because we have a fixed cost of 5K, we make 10K minus 5K. That is only 5K. So this business is still making more money after we made a sale. Okay, so let's move on. Now, if the business makes 2 sales at the same price, same everything, Now we made 2 sales, which is 20K minus 25%, that's 15K. But what we can see right here, 20K minus 5K, that is also going to be 15K. So at 2 sales, these 2 businesses are making the same amount of money. Okay, now let's move again. Let's see what happens after this business is going to make 3 sales. Now at 3 sales, this is going to be 30K minus 25%. That's going to leave us with $22,500. And then on the other side, this business is going to make 30K minus 5K. And this business is now going to make $25,000. And we can see that at 3 sales, this business is going to start to make more money than this one. Okay, great. So now we see how these 2 businesses behave based on how many sales we make. But let's make this tangible now and let's add a goal to this. Let's say our goal is to make 100K per month. And this could be the same if our price was 1K and then the goal was 10K a month. It doesn't matter, but let's see if our goal is 100K a month. How do we get there? Now, let's go to this next graph. Now, if we make 11 sales, and the price is still $10,000 a month, we can see that this business on the right here is now going to make $105,000, which gets us to our goal because we're going to make 11 sales. That's going to be 110 grand minus 5K. That's going to be 105K. But the business on the left is going to make again 110K minus 25% commission, and that's going to be $82,500. And that is going to make $22,500 less just because of the structure of our business. This business is going to make way less than this one just because we decided the different structure of how we want to get costs. So now this shows how everything connects to our goal. And by the way, if you guys want to try this for yourself, make these graphs for yourself, you can just go to aceopti.com/operating leverage. And you can see right here, you're just going to enter what your price is, what your monthly fixed costs are, variable cost, so 2,500, which would be 25%. Then what your goal is for your profit, and that's going to be 0 sales. It's going to take 14 sales to get to your goal. And then if we change it, so the same price like we had before, and now we make our fixed cost $5,000 and no variable cost. You can see the same thing from the example. It's going to take 11 sales to get to our goal. You can combine this. You can make, like usually you're going to have some fixed costs, some variable costs, and you can play around with these numbers to see how many sales you need to actually get to your goal, and you can do that right here. Now let's get to the fun part. Now, how usually people see this and how they see it in traditional economics is that this business is going to be high risk, high reward, and this one is going to be low risk, low reward. It's pretty easy to see because this one is going to be risky at the beginning because you're losing money, and this one won't be. And then after you start making a lot of sales, this side is going to make less money. This one is going to make more money, so it's going to have higher profit right here. But what I want to show you right here is that this business is actually lower risk and still the higher reward. Now, the thing you need to know about a coaching business is that it is all about you. It is about you, especially in the beginning. It's about you putting in the work. It's going to be dependent, like how successful you are is going to be dependent on about how much you put in the hours, how much you put in the work. So the whole success of your business is determined by you. You. I want to just repeat that, because this is the lens with which we need to look at this, at risk, to know how risky a business is you. So the biggest risk in your business, in your coaching business, won't be the money you have, the whatever. It's going to be you. It's going to be about you putting in the work. So with knowing that, now let's look at the example. So first up, we have businesses. So let me zoom in. We have the red business. So this one that is supposed to be low risk, low reward. But what actually ends up happening right here, let's say the price was 10K, we made 0 sales and we lost no money. So what does that mean for us psychologically? Well, because we didn't lose any money in our life, in our personal like mindset stuff, we have no urgency because it doesn't matter if we make a sale today or in 3 months. Why? Because we're not losing any money. So psychologically, you don't care about it. You don't care as much. Because, okay, I didn't lose any money, it doesn't matter, I'll just test, I'll take some time, I'll think about it, I don't know, go to Bali or whatever, because I didn't lose any money. So with this type of business, at the beginning, you're not losing any money. So what this means for you psychologically is that you have no urgency because it doesn't matter if you make a sale today or in a couple months. But now let's look at the other side. So this business that's supposed to be high risk, high reward, well, what does this make for us? Because again, I want to stress this. Look at this through the lens of your business. It's all about you. So with this type of business, if you make no sales, so you lost 5 grand, what that does for you psychologically is going to make it easier for you to work, because you're pressured to make it work, because you know that if you let this go for 3 months, you're going to lose 15K, and then you're going to be out of money, you're going to be out of business, and you just suck. So you just don't make any money. So with this type of business, even at the beginning, you're losing money, which is supposed to be high risk. It is going to be easier to work because you're pressured to make it work. But now, how does this translate? After we make some sales, we start making a lot of money. Now, how does this translate? Let's again look at the first example where we're making less money with this one. Well, what this does for us is every time you get a sale, so now you're making sales, you get 3 sales right here, you get 11 sales right here, every single time. So again, think about it psychologically, what this does to you. Every time you get a sale, you immediately get hit with a minus. So let's say you made a sale right now today, you close somewhere for 10K, you're happy, but like a second after that, you remember, oh, I have to pay my seller, I have to pay my closer, and that gets me down to 7,500. And I'm already down like 2.5K just because of the structure of my business. But then on the other side, how it looks like on this business, it's again going to be easier to work. Why? Because you know that every single sale you make is going straight for the bottom line. Now, the first sale you make in the month, let's say here you're making 11 sales, you know, okay, I lost 5K, that's it. But then as soon as you make the second one, the third one, the 10th one, the 11th one, you know that straight up after you make the sale, everything is going straight to the bottom line. So it's again going to be easier for you to work. And inside a business where everything is dependent on you doing the work, you're looking for any single way, every single possible way to make it for you, to make it easier for you to work. So now all of that takes us to the big finale, which is we use risk to eliminate risk. We're using this risk because at the beginning we're losing money to eliminate risk of us not doing the work. We're using risk to eliminate risk. And generally in economics, avoiding risk when possible is good, right? You want to avoid risk when possible. But in reality, in your business, in an online coaching business, the biggest risk you have is you not doing the work. So it is less risky to have something that's going to push you to do more. So it's less risky to have this $5,000 a month hanging over your head that's going to make you lose money. So it actually forces you to do the work. So that's it. That is how we debunk the degree of operating leverage in economics. By the way, if you are someone who already has an audience but struggles with getting clients, there's a link down below. You can book a call. It's not just a course or anything you need to buy, but that's it. If you want help like getting like these numbers, if you want to do this for yourself, you can go to aceopti.com/operating leverage. That's it. But look, if you like this video, leave a like, leave a comment, anything. And yeah, subscribe if you want help getting more and better clients.